dash thy foot against a stone. Jesus said unto him, it is written again, thou shalt not tempt the Lord thy God. Again, the devil taketh him up into an exceeding high mountain, and showeth him all the kingdoms of the world and the glory of them, and saith unto him, all these things will I give thee, if thou wilt fall down and worship me. Then saith Jesus unto him, get thee hence, Satan, for it is written, thou shalt worship the Lord thy God, and him only shalt thou serve. Then the devil leaveth him, and behold, angels came and ministered unto him. I pray the Lord add a blessing to the hearing and the reading of his word. You know, as we talk about this morning, the temptation of Christ, how he went into the wilderness, and after he had fasted 40 days and nights, then came the devil to tempt him. And when you think about it, you know, you think that Jesus endured everything that he did for our sakes. Because see, he didn't have to fast for himself. He didn't have to, he hadn't done anything wrong where he felt he needed to get that much closer to God, because he was God. But he did it for us. He subjected himself to allow the devil to come into his space to tempt him. You know, many times in life, you know, we're tempted. You know, the first temptation he had was, he says that man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God. And if we reflect just a little bit, the first of the year, Pastor had called a fast, our Daniel's fast. We do it every year. And this is a fast that would strengthen our walk, that would draw us closer to God, to have us focus on him, shut out all the ongoings of the world and the rhetoric that we're involved in each and every day, because we need to hear from God. We need to be focused on him. We need him to be center place in our lives. And the flesh cannot do what the Spirit does. We have to strengthen our spirit man. We have to give focus and attention to the inner man, that he can walk closer with God. And that's why the Lord said that man cannot live by bread alone. You cannot just satisfy the body all the time, and then we do nothing for the spirit man. I remember a long time ago, you know, God had given me the opportunity to share a lesson. You know, what would our spirit man look like if we could see him? Would he be healthy and vibrant? Or would he be, you know, wasted away physically or spiritually? How would the body look? Because do we feed that spirit man on a regular basis? Do we feed the spirit man as much as we feed our physical man? Are we, you know, one of the things that comes to mind all the time, it seems like, is food. Because we're always thinking, you know, well, what am I going to have for breakfast? Or what am I going to eat for dinner? Or what am I going to do for lunch? And your mind begins to wander and think about, you know, the different foods that you might eat. But does our mind ever go towards, what am I going to do today for my spirit man? How am I going to strengthen the spirit man? You know, where am I going to study today in the Word of God? Or am I going to fast today? Or what am I going to do that would draw me closer to him? And it's not that we would neglect our bodies, but we need not neglect our spirit man. That's what Pastor was trying to share with us, especially at the first of the year. She said, you know, the word for this year was focus. And if you know anything about focusing, it's when things are not very clear or distant, or we allow our minds to wander off and we're not really concentrating on what we need to concentrate on. Because see, the enemy, he has a way of coming in a variety of ways to capture our attention, to capture our focus, and take us away from where God wants us to be. But as Jesus said, we can't just live by bread alone. We can't just feed the physical man. We've got to feed the spirit man also. The second temptation that Jesus endured says that, you know, the devil took him up into the holy city and sat him up on the pinnacle and showed him all the kingdoms of the world, power and fame and fortune. And those same temptations, they're there today, because we can get entrapped so easily by the pursuit of wealth and the pursuit of what we feel that will make us happy, the pursuit of earthly things. But Jesus said, put your mind and your treasures in heaven, where moth and rust won't corrupt these things. We're so busy establishing for ourselves a life and a home and going after all the things that we feel would make us happy or make us comfortable, or what we're doing for our families, or how we're working so hard in our jobs. And you know, sometimes I kind of get a little upset at myself, because see, when I leave the job, I like to be able to just leave the job and leave all that pertains to it at the job. But nonetheless, I'll find myself thinking about different deals that I have going on and things that I need to do and what I've got to do for the next day and the day after, and trying to keep focus on that. But I just feel that, you know, when I leave the job, I need to be able to leave all that pertains to it at the job instead of bringing it home with me. Or maybe it might not be the job. Maybe it might be family situations or other things that are going on in life that take up your attention span. But Jesus also said, you know, wheresoever a man's heart is, there his treasure is also. What is it that consumes your mind the most? Is it God? Or is it the things of this world? There again, it brings us back to what Pastor was saying. We got to focus. It's a concerted effort on our part. We have to consciously draw our thoughts in, draw our attention span in, direct our thoughts and attention towards God, towards building the kingdom, towards strengthening our relationship, towards helping those that are in the body. Because sometimes we have a tendency to spend more time doing everything else but giving God the attention that he deserves from us. for one of my favorite scriptures out of the Bible. Was Matthew 6:33. Let me just go there and read it for you real quick. Because we get so caught up in life that we're worried about all of these things. But let me just read from Matthew 6:31 to 6:33. It says, "Therefore take no thought, saying, what shall we eat? Or what shall we drink? Or withal shall be clothed? For after all these things do the Gentiles seek. For your heavenly Father knoweth that ye have need of these things. But seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you." He says, take no thought for tomorrow, for the morrow will take thought for the things of itself. Sufficient unto the day of evil. He's saying, if you will just take the time, put your focus on me, I'm going to work out all of these other things for you. You don't have to worry about, what you're going to eat this afternoon. You don't have to worry about what you will be wearing tomorrow when you go to work. You don't have to worry about, household issues that might come up. I've got to take care of this for the home. I got to do this for the children. I got to go here for an appointment that I've got. All of the cares of life. God knows that we have these things going on, but he's just telling us in 6:33, he says, but if you will just seek me first and his righteousness, then he says, I'll add all of these other things. I'm going to put them all in order for you. And it will not be a major issue. It will work out if we could just direct our train of thought towards him and not towards everything else. And as I say these things, I point the finger at me first, because I have a lot going on in my life. Believe me. My mind is darting from here to there, and work and home, and my wife as she's traveling, and kids and different things that are going on. But God is telling me, think about him first. He's going to help me to handle all the other situations, but just put him first. We need to focus, church. As individuals, as a body, we have to focus in on him. We have to think about what he endured for us. Because see, these temptations that he went through them for us. The Bible says that he knows every infirmity, every feeling, every emotion that we feel. It's not new to him, because he went through it when he was here for each and every one of us. You know how the old saying is, when people ask you how you're doing, and you might tell them, but and they say, well, I really understand. I know how it is. Well, see, sometimes, people say that, but unless they've actually been in those shoes, they really don't understand what you're going through. They just, as a way of making conversation, oh, I understand. They'll say that. But if they have not been in that situation before, they really do not understand. But see, Jesus He put himself through every situation of life that we will ever encounter, that he knows our weaknesses. He knows the emotions that we feel. He feels the stresses of life that we have to endure, the pressures that we are under for family and job and ministry. He knows all that we're going through. And he says, if you're heavily burdened, he says, cast your burdens upon him. He'll take the load. We can focus on him. But see, he endured these temptations, not for himself, but for you, for me. Because see, the Bible declares that he overcame every obstacle of life, every tempestuous situation, including death, hell, and the grave. He overcame all of it to make a way for us, because he made it. That same spirit that dwelt within him will help us to make it. The Bible declares that he will not put more on any man or woman than you can bear. Now, it might seem like it's unbearable at times, but God knows, and he's there for each and every one of us to help us to carry the load, help us to, not let it be so consuming that we will lose our focus on him, but that we will be able to keep him as the center place of our life. Because see, church, we have this eternal hope in Christ Jesus, that he is our hope for tomorrow. He is our hope for the remainder of today. He is our eternal hope for all of eternity, that no matter what we might have to endure, Jesus said, I will never leave you, nor will I forsake you, but I will be with you to the very end. Then he says, I have gone away to prepare a place for you in my Father's house. For he said, if it were not so, I would have told you. But there are many mansions there with your name, with my name, with all the saints. There's room enough for everybody. But for the meantime, we have to focus on him. The third temptation was that Satan was trying to get the Lord Jesus to bow down and worship him. And Jesus rebuked him and told him to get thee hence. Sometimes when the enemy comes in, and I can testify to it because sometimes my mind wanders off and I'll have to just gain control of it and tell the devil to get thee hence out of my mind. There's no space in my mind for you or my walk for you. And Pastor would share this with us many times. She said that she would stand boldly on that word and tell the devil he needed to go back to hell from where he came from. And you have that same power and authority that resides in you. For greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. Church, we have to recognize who we are in Christ Jesus. We don't have to take anything from the devil. We can tell him where he needs to go, because he has no space in my life or yours. Jesus reigns supreme. You just need to let him know and tell him where to go. The same that Jesus did. For Jesus told the disciples one day, he says, the things that you have seen me to do, and I'm just paraphrasing, but the things you have seen me do, the miracles that I performed, the blind eyes that I've opened up, the lame that I've caused to walk, the deaf that ears have been opened, the mute that were unable to speak that speak now, the dead that rose up, the 5,000 that were fed, the raging sea that was spoken to quietness. He said, all of these things and many more. You'll be able to do these things and much more. Why? Because the Holy Ghost that rested in him, that caused him to get up out of the grave, is the same Holy Ghost that lives in you, that was in pastor, that was in bishop, that was in all the saints of before, is in you. And you have that same power, that same authority. We need to learn how to walk in our authority. We need to recognize who we are in Christ Jesus. We don't have to settle for less, church. We don't have to allow the devil to come into our space and dictate, try and control our minds and our thoughts and take away our worship time, our quiet time with the Lord. We need to have a set time. And if it's not a set time, we need to create time, put it that way, every day, that God can minister to us, that God can have a moment with us. Do you love him today? Is he important to you today? Let me share something with you. I mean, if things are important in your life, you're going to make time for them. Even though my wife is 3,000 miles away and she's helping to take care of her mom and visiting her families, I still make time. I'll call her multiple times throughout the day, checking on her, seeing how things going, lending myself to be of help to her if I can. But that's because she carries an important place in my life. But even more so, I make space for the Lord, because I take time to get in my word and let him minister to me. I take multiple times throughout the day where I'm praying and listening and allowing him to minister to me, because I want him to be the focal point of my life. I think we all do. Pastor taught us well. All we have to do is grab hold to those teachings, refresh ourselves. We're blessed because the last few years are, we've we have those teachings on our website or YouTube, that if you need to remind yourself, they're there. You can hear what she was teaching on. You can be encouraged by those words. But again, as I wrap this up, and I know it was short, but we just wanted to try and improvise, even though the enemy thought he was going to dictate our service this morning. He's got no space in our service because God always has a plan. God will always make a way. Jesus went out into the wilderness, endured the temptations for you, for me, that we might overcome the power of the enemy. Recognize your authority today. Walk in the authority of the Lord Jesus Christ. You're not subject to anything of the enemy. You just have to rise up in that authority. Tell him he has no space and he needs to go back to the pits of hell. But that's what I had for you this morning. I pray that somebody was able to receive something from that, to be encouraged with that word. And I give God the glory that he was able to use me to give it to you this morning, in Jesus' name. But at this time, I'll turn it over to Elder Stubblefield if he would like to wrap things up for the Sunday school this morning. Amen.
Amen. Praise the Lord. And thank you, Elder, for that message this morning. Amen. Praise the Lord, everybody. That was powerful. Elder was giving us, a great reminder that I believe we all need to take heed to and understand how that all of us have these things that could potentially take us off track. Elder gave us the scripture where the Lord himself, after going on that 40-day fast, and even the devil came to the Lord. Now, this is something that you guys got to understand, that if the devil would come to Jesus to tempt Jesus, then he certainly, can come to us and try to tempt us. And, the enemy with that, how he twisted the words, all of the scriptures, the devil was taking the scriptures out of context, because if Jesus would have threw himself down, that would be an act of suicide. And we know that God is not condoning anybody to commit suicide just to get the angels to try to save you. So those are the kind of things that the enemy does. He twists things and creates these nuances and these inferences that are not rooted in truth, but are rooted in his diabolical scheme to separate us from God. But he is not going to be successful. Amen. And Elder was reminding us also of the beginning of the year, where we had the focus and we had the Daniel fast. And as we know, we've been doing this for some time now, where we would set aside that time of consecration, and we have a theme, and that theme this year was focus. And I know everybody here today, as Elder pointed out, that we have all been bombarded with many things that has taken front and center in our lives and could have been like distractions. Now, Elder mentioned the things that he has between work and family. I know I can relate to the same exact thing. We have multiple things. We wear multiple hats. We have all these things, and we must do what we can to continue to keep that focus, regardless of what things look like. and no man or no woman is exempt. You know, we also have the temptation of being too busy, right? The busyness of life tends to happen, and the busyness of all the different things and responsibilities and commitments that we have got us running around a lot. And then not to mention all of the unexpected things that come up and that happens in our lives. But we have to do what we must do to stay connected and to keep God first. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these other things will be added. You know, and that is something, that is a great reminder Elder gave us, because, you know, we have to make sure that we are keeping God first. Now, there might be some things that you do that puts God first in your life. Like, I'll just use myself as an example. You know, I get up in the morning and, you know, I have my Bible app, and I put it on the audio version, and it also keeps track of, you know, what your streak is, right? You know, and the number of days that you've been doing this for a while. And I won't share that, you know, because that's personal. But, you know, I've been doing it for years now, but it's become part of my routine. And I know, like, and there's been mornings where I have missed. I got up really fast, or I slept too late or something. And then, oh, I didn't do my devotion. So later on in the day, I find myself doing my devotion when I should have done it in the morning, because I don't ever want God